And welcome to another episode of the Payoff Pitch. Today we're going to be talking about the LA Dodgers season preview, fantasy baseball, and season as well. I am joined by my co-host and co-author of the Fantasy Baseball Draft Guide and Almanac, Eric Zimmerman, a.k.a. the Baseball Llama. Quick pitch for that book. We are less expensive than the competitors. We are more up-to-date. And our book, it's proven. The vast majority of our readers made playoffs last year, and quite a few of them won their league. You can check out in the show notes below. Amazon.com is where it's available. You can read the reviews. We stand by the book, and we offer free in-season advice. Direct line to both me and Eric. We don't have, we can't afford to hire people yet to do it on our behalf. So you're getting everything from us. And of course, our book is the most up to date as well. We have bets on the Dodgers, and we'll be talking about that today. So Eric, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing well, Sean. What is going on?
Not much, man. Just talking about the Dodgers, who are, spoiler alert, and we'll get to all the picks later on, but they are my team to win the World Series this year. I think they're going to do it. I don't know if you'll agree, and I admit that Eric is better with predictions and everything, but I think they have the eye of the tiger, especially with all this Houston stuff going on. I think they're going to do it this year. But, a lot of pieces. This lineup is ridiculous. They have two of the top three players in our draft guide on their team now in Betts and Bellinger. You got Walker Buehler, who's taken over basically the frontline starter role from Clayton Kershaw, who, by the way, is still pretty damn good. Seager, Muncy, Turner, Urias, Gavin Lux, who you like quite a bit, coming up and taking over that second base role. Let's just start with the offense. And I don't want to talk for 2.5 hours, which I think we could do on this Dodgers team. Where do you start? Let's start with Mookie Betts, man. The trade there, you like the deal. Not even that this lineup needed fortification, but holy smokes, man. Just talk a little bit about it.
I mean, well, let me just first off to say the easiest way to describe this lineup to me is they're Godzilla. That's the best thing I can say. This team is absolutely ridiculous. And adding a guy like Mookie Betts to it, who will likely hit leadoff in this team.
Oh my gosh! Goodness.
Yeah, it's a terrifying thing to think you're going to come out there and you're going to have to face some combination of Mookie, Bellinger, and either Justin Turner or Max Muncy or whatever at the top of that lineup, and there's just no let up. There really isn't, and the fact that they hung on to Jock Peterson, I think it did them a favor when the Angels backed out of that deal, because
that was ridiculous too. I was reading the comments from the Angels owner, and he just got impatient and back. What a little turd that guy.
Yeah.
It was classic billionaire problems, right? Yeah, I want it now. But yeah, good for the Dodgers, right?
I don't know what the hell the Dodgers were thinking with that trade to begin with, because the value they gave up with Peterson and Stripling was great, and they weren't getting anything back for him. That would have been the first trade the Dodgers I've ever seen them make that I would have panned.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand it. There may have been more that wasn't reported, so it's possible. But
yeah, there is that. And, you don't know how they value the guys that we got in return in the farm system. But, I like I said, I think they're my favorites to win the World Series this year. And they keep that depth, that incredible depth with such a deep lineup. And, keep Stripling there on the mound and everything. So very, very good, I think. But,
just to think Stripling would have been, you put Stripling on the Angels, he's now their ace, and he probably would have jumped quite a bit in our rankings.
Yeah.
The fact now that he's more of a bullpen guy over here, long reliever, back and forth, may do some starts here and there, hurts his value, and that's why he's not really ranked that high on us. But if that guy can find himself into a rotation spot on a regular basis, I really like what he has to bring, and I think he would have jumped quite a bit there. So yeah, they have that just sitting in their bullpen as a backup in case something happens if Price inevitably gets injured, or if they want to limit Urias's innings or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at the rankings too, because I filtered by the Dodgers in our book rankings. So I just pulled up kind of the worksheet that we use to in the publication. They have the numbers 2, 3, 26, 30, 62, 83, 105, 110, 114, 123. That is a grand total of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in the top 125. There's 30 teams in the league, and they have 10 of the top 125. Just incredible team. I don't think, honestly, everybody out there, just to kind of, again, not talk for 2.5 hours. Look, Bellinger's a beast. Bellinger is an absolute beast. Betts is a beast. Buehler's a beast. Kershaw's a beast. Why don't you talk a little bit about Kershaw? We don't need to really dig too deep into that, and I'll come back with some batters, because I want to talk a little bit about the less heralded guys, maybe some of the up-and-comers like a Will Smith and a Gavin Lux. But let's talk about Kershaw at this point. I mean, after the season, after the playoffs and all that, there was talk about, is it time to part ways with Kershaw, which I thought was insane. You don't get rid of a guy like that just because, he's had a little bit of a tough go in the playoffs, especially when Walker Buehler now seems to be like he's going to be, quote unquote, the ace there, although I would say it's option 1 and 1A. But why don't you talk about Kershaw and your thoughts on him?
Yeah, look, he's a guy that had to kind of reinvent himself. He doesn't have the 250 to 300 strikeout stuff that he did in years past. He's had to kind of as he's gotten a little older, he's had to reinvent himself.
Yeah.
And for him to come out there without really missing a beat, reinventing himself and post an ERA barely over 3 and still strike out close to 200 guys is outstanding. When he has a bad day and he gets hit, he gets hit pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, as long as he's locating, he's still a really, really good pitcher. He's not a top tier guy. He's not a guy you're going to grab in the first round because he's there anymore. Let someone else kind of do that. Don't, he's to me, I'm not going to go out there in my first 2-3 rounds and grab Kershaw anymore. I'm going to look at other pitchers first, other batters first, whatever. But if he's there, a few more, picks down the line, absolutely. He's still going to put up, he put up almost a 3.5 WAR last year. And again, he wasn't at his best. So yeah, no, I like a lot. He doesn't walk a ton of guys. He just brings a lot of value for for not an early pick.
I'm looking this roster over, man. I don't know how we're gonna keep this video under 20 minutes, but we'll try. It's crazy. So I want to talk a little bit about David Price, and I'll take this one. I know I'm a little bit higher on him coming into this year. Look, he's getting older, right? And last year in Boston, 6-11, 4.4 ERA. Let's see, 51 earned runs, 128 strikeouts, 1.3 WHIP, but a 10.7 strikeout per 9. I think on this team, again, he's not the ace. He's what, number 3? Or we have him as the number 3 starter, give or take. Now, I mean, we'll see what Urias and those guys. I think he's going to be an uptick. And then I look at a guy like Alex Wood, who I think you're a little bit higher on than I am this year, in terms of, fantasy value and maybe bang for buck in your draft. So maybe I already know kind of your thoughts, and I just summed them up is you like David Price, but he's just not the David Price he was in Tampa, obviously. But I think with this lineup support, I think he's going to get a lot of wins. He's just going to get a lot of wins. But why don't you talk a little bit about Alex Wood?
He's talented guy. Injuries got to him last year. He rushed back and only made a couple.
And I loved
starts.
him in Cincinnati last year, and then I had him on my roster. And I just couldn't hold on to him anymore because of our slim rosters. But yeah, Alex Wood, I do like him. But sorry, keep going.
Oh yeah, I mean, he kind of came back, made just a couple of starts, and he's making them in a very, very homer-friendly park in Cincinnati. So it didn't particularly go well. He's worked really hard this offseason. I think I saw he was training at Driveline, which usually is an indication to me in a lot of cases that he's going to take a step forward, just because they have such great results across the board.
Wow.
So no, I like a lot of what's coming with him. He's always been a good pitcher, and he's back where he's comfortable and familiar here in LA. I think he's going to really kind of solidify that rotation and add a nice piece for them. And he's a good late round option for a lot of teams, especially on this team. As you mentioned, the offense is going to carry him to wins.
Yeah.
As long as he's back to what he was or can get close to what he was a couple years ago. I think you got to steal in the late rounds.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these guys that you might be hearing about less because they have so many stars. Let's talk about the guys that aren't quite star level yet. Specifically, I want to hear your thoughts on Will Smith, catcher, a position that's always hard to find somebody. They're very top heavy there, and then it kind of drops off. And then Gavin Lux, who I've seen your write up, I see in the book that you like quite a bit. Why don't you talk about those two guys?
Yeah, I mean, Smith performed really, really well coming out of the gate. Didn't really have a ton of didn't really suffer a lot coming in early. He really just kind of started hitting and performed very, very well. I was kind of sad I missed out on him. I held on to Contreras a little longer than I wanted, and his strikeouts kind of started to bug me.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I like Smith a lot. He's a guy I'm going to be targeting, in those middle to late rounds, and hope that he's there and I can add him to my team. He's an up and coming guy. They've still got another guy behind him in Keibert Ruiz who will probably be either just a backup guy or trade bait because they have Smith and they love him, and I don't disagree. He's really going to be a good stalwart to that to that lineup.
Sure. And then Lux?
Oh, man. This guy, I mean, you look at his minor league numbers, and it's insane. He came right up and hit pretty well. He wasn't, absolutely tearing the cover off the ball, but he didn't get a ton of time either. It was very late in the season,
Yeah.
but he made their, the fact that they added him to their playoff rotation or to the playoff lineup, I should
Roster, yeah,
say,
yeah.
right off the bat, and he was getting playing time there, shows what they think of him and how good he can be. They've turned down demands for him left and right in trades. So yeah, I mean, this guy's going to be a star, and he's a guy you can grab probably in the later rounds, mid to late rounds, as everyone's going to be targeting other
Right.
second basemen early. So if you miss out on an Ozzy Albies or something like that at the top of the rotation, there you missed out on Altuve, whatever it is. You know,
Altuve, and this will make the Dodgers fans smile. Altuve, I'm not high on this year because look, dude, like you and I both play baseball, and frankly, the idea of a pitcher who could throw 90 and then throw an off speed pitch at 60 or 50 or whatever it is, that ended my baseball career effectively.
yeah,
Once you get away from the curveball is the same the same speed as your fastball, like in Little League, that's where things started to go awry for me. Look, at the major league level, when you know an off speed versus fastball is coming, I'm sorry, it makes a big impact. So, and Altuve was one of the cheaters. I don't know what I'm going to get from him. So, as a fantasy player, if he was available, Eric, and our draft goes 7 keepers, so the first pick is effectively the 8th round. If he was available in the 8th round, sure. But am I racing? And we have him high in our tier guide. I know everybody else has the same tier. I won't fight too hard on it, but I'm more down on him because yes, he has talent, but dude, I mean, you could be talking about 20 points in your batting average. Like that is going to have a ripple effect, and I don't know what it is yet. Now, Houston, I don't think they'll be a bad team because the pitching is still really good, but I don't know when I'm going to get there. And the Major League Baseball is going to have tighter controls. Whether or not you agree with the punishment handed down, I think it was a little weak. I'm sure Dodgers fans that are watching this agree. But Altuve, I just wanted to go on this little because I know the Dodgers fans will respond well to it. Let's be honest, but I just wanted to go on that little Altuve rant. Because I'm telling you, if I'm starting a new league, I'm taking him off my draft board because he's going to go too high, and I don't want the risk. That's how I feel.
and I don't disagree with you there.
And
I still
Springer
think
is
it's a
another
little
one, man. Like Springer, I'm convinced is going to have his worst year ever. And not only that,
here. Yeah,
this is just another little argument with this too. Is even if you fall on this, let's say you're a Houston Astros fan and you're watching this, and you're like, f this guy. I'm going to comment on that. Even if you think that the ability is, hey, these are still major league players and all that. Look, even just the pressure. Think about the pressure and the mental stuff that they're going to go through this year. Because even if they don't think, and you don't think that the cheating was an issue, and I do, right? Even if you don't think that, they're going to be pressing because they want to prove that they're still as good as they are. And so that pressing, even if it's not a big deal, right? There was always these arguments about steroids, how much does it impact or not? Even, dude, like just the mental component. Once you start to get weird upstairs in your head, like that can affect you at the plate. You only have, what is it, like 0.2 of a second to make a decision on whether to swing or not. I don't know, man. I'm down on the Astros this year. We'll wait for the AL West when we get to that because I know I'm going to be lambasted by the by the Astros fans.
Oh yeah, you want to keep this thing under 20 minutes? I could go for an hour about the way that all this was told. Jesus. No,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's not get too far into that rabbit hole because I got a whole lot to say about all that.
Yeah, I know. We'll save it for another episode.
Yeah, let's do that because this could go on for a while if
Yeah.
we do.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
So Gavin Lux, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just let someone else take. I mean, look, I think Altuve is going to have a good year. He's still a really talented player. He'll probably see a drop in those home runs,
Mm-hmm.
but let someone else grab him in the first round or two.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you.
And get yourself a top flight pitcher, and then just target Lux or someone.
Watch
like,
Lux outperform Altuve this year. I would love it. I would love that.
It would not. It wouldn't surprise me, and that's not necessarily a knock on Altuve, but more of a
How much you like Lux? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
And let me look. So we have Lux. Actually, you boosted him into tier 4, which is that's high praise for a guy who's quote unquote unproven at the MLB level. 114 overall, and we like our starting pitchers too. So we tend to be starting pitcher dominant because again we're talking competitive advantage in our draft guide. So that's good, man. So let's just do. We're at 14 minutes now in this video, right? High and low quickly. Floor and ceiling. What do you think about this team?
Let's see. Ceiling would be the
Champions.
World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, plain and simple. That's what they're doing. That's why Betts is here. And I can guarantee you they'll probably add a pretty solid player at the deadline. They can add another star pitcher, whatever they want to do. So yeah, that's easily that. For them, for this team, the floor is still winning the division. I
Yeah.
think, barring just uh,
They have
not
so
going
much
like a
depth.
train wreck, or,
They have
plane
so much
crash.
depth. Even if two of their starting pitchers get injured, they have depth there and the offense to get through. And then they tend to only roll their pitchers out for the first 6 innings anyway. I
Oh
just
my God! Look, if Kershaw, Price, and Wood all went down, they would still have Bueller. They would still have Urias. They have Dustin May that can step in, who's really really good young pitcher. They've got Jimmy Nelson there. They've got Tony Gonsolin.
dude,
They've got Ross Stripling. They could lose their whole rotation and still have a middle of the pack rotation with the guys that they have as depth.
it's an incredible roster. This is one of the deepest. This might be the best roster I can recall seeing in recent memory, mind you, coming into a season. They're just stacked, and they're not stacked by just like, hey, let's buy everybody. Now I know Betts is an addition, and I know Price is an addition on the mound, but this group has been together for a while. They've been to World Series. I think they get over the hump this year. I really do. But there you go. And I agree with your Florenciano. I don't see any way this team doesn't win the division, and that's not a knock on the other teams because I do like a lot of these teams in the West. That's just how good the Dodgers are to me this year. But anyway, everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Payoff Pitch, kind of the Dodgers preview. Once again, please check out Amazon.com. You can see it in the show notes below for our Fantasy Baseball Almanac and Draft Guide. Once again, it's less expensive than our competitors. You get updates. We already have bets, as we've been talking about, on the Dodgers in the publication. We're more updated. We keep it updated, and we keep you updated in the season via promo code. You get a direct line to me and Eric. Thanks for your consideration. Check out the comments. We stand by them. And please like and subscribe to this channel. Share this video out, Dodgers fans. We're on your side this year, man. You've been wronged by MLB, and we're on your side. I think karma's going to get you across the finish line this year. So once again, thanks, and have a great day.